go for lunch.
Yes.
And they did not want to hear Wendy's or McDonald's. I think they get a lot of that with their kids.
Oh, yes, yeah. Or Chick-fil-A. My grandkids love Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A is sort of that's a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they'll be busy today.
Nope.
Oh, no, they're closed.
No, they won't.
They're going to lose a little revenue.
Yeah, they probably.
Yeah, but you know they advertise on the highway whenever you see a Chick-fil-A ahead. It'll say somewhere on there, closed on Sunday.
Yes, yeah.
They stick to their guns.
They do. They caught a lot of heat from doing that, from the ungodly people in our nation, but I think it helped their business, though.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think overall they're gaining that way.
They do.
The Sabbath, which was not Sunday, but it was always a serious thing.
I couldn't mow grass on Sunday.
You know, Jesus came right up though doing so many of his miracles, sermons, and all those things on
The Sabbath. He did.
And they didn't pick up on that.
That's right. They didn't. No, they didn't. That's right. You have something for me?
But you might want to see this. They had their homecoming last week.
Oh, did they? Okay.
So they've got a whole little history
Fantastic.
thing on Woodlawn and all of that. So I thought you might be interested in
Well, yeah, thank you very much.
You might not recognize some of the names on there.
Okay, yeah. The good old Rick Glass, of course. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Greg York. I'm one of the ministers here at the Oliver Creek Church of Christ, and just want to thank you for being a part of this worship time. Whether you're watching my live stream or watching it later, welcome. And hope that you will join us in person whenever you have the opportunity.
Hi, I'm Susanna Hollinsett, the children's minister here at Oliver Creek. I want to share with you what you can expect during today's worship service. We will sing songs together, we'll pray together, we'll take time to hear a message from God's Word, and then we'll take time to eat the Lord's Supper and remember Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection. All of this is for the goal and purpose of connecting with God and with each other.
We're gathered around three core principles that really make up our mission here. The first is to glorify God, and we do that.
Oh, little ones. Sharon's here. Must be time to start.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
Good morning, good morning.
Hello. Happy Father's Day, fathers.
I was hearing voices.
Yes, they've got me on back there. They've got me on everywhere.
Did the books ever come, no, Dennis?
The books have not come yet. Sorry. Maybe a couple more weeks, maybe.
Have to have
We'll
a little
see.
sign posted up there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, books. I don't know. I need to call and. Okay, we will get things started. Sign in, please. Thank you for coming. Happy Father's Day. Although it's one of those difficult days for our family, having lost Dave, and so it's not, it's one of those, days that comes along that first year that it's still kind of an open wound. But Happy Father's Day, and hope that we are able to honor the dads, or honor their memories for sure. I have the latest issue of the Magnolia Messenger is now out front. This is a good issue. This was a more difficult issue for me to get together. I'm really proud of this one because I was in Arizona, as you know, for a month while we were trying to get this issue together, and I knew that I would be kind of out of pocket, and we've never missed a deadline as far as getting it out on time. So I had asked a couple men to help me. Danny Dodd, who preaches over in North Little Rock. Any of you know Danny Dodd, longtime minister over at the Levy congregation in North Little Rock. Danny writes a lot for us. He's a graduate of Magnolia Bible College. So I asked Danny to help me round up some good articles for this issue, as well as helping with a few other matters that helped stir this along. Eddie Lewis also helped me some. Eddie did.
It's just our side. Just our side.
Sheep and the goats.
We're the goats.
Yeah, okay. But we were able to get this issue together. It's a good issue. Got a lot of good articles in it, and so it is in the foyer in the back. So get your copy before you leave. All right. We want to talk about heaven today, and we're going to be looking at excuse me, looking at heaven itself, looking at New Jerusalem, looking at the city itself, and coming to understand it a little bit better, or as best we can. I brought my water this time. For some reason, I've been really hoarse lately. So here's the question. What will be left when everything else is gone? We know that Jesus says when he comes back, he's going to resurrect us, or we'll ascend in the air to meet him. There we'll forever be with the Lord in the air. We'll be going somewhere, because then we're told that this earth is going to melt with a fervent heat, going to be dissolved, will be no longer. The stars of the sky are going to be dissolved, gone. The elements, all the elements that we know, we think of as outer space, all of that will be gone. All of that will be melted and destroyed. Every physical thing that God created will be totally annihilated and gone after we have been ascended and gone away with the Lord. So everything will be gone. So where will we be? Where will all of our souls exist? Where will we be? Well, the only thing left will be, I guess, what was in the beginning before God created all this. That will be the spiritual world, and we've talked about the spiritual realms. God created a physical world that we are a part of. But there's always been the spiritual world, and we looked at it from the throne of God. By the way, Keith just walked in, and I thought of something. Yes, yeah. Well, thanks for reminding me. We will be gone next Sunday, and Keith will be teaching. So I just wanted to mention that. Yeah, right. Yes. Okay, all right. Kathy's brother's youngest son is getting married up in Illinois, and we're going to be up there for that happy event. So appreciate, huh? I have no idea. I haven't looked at it. Do you know where it is, sweetie? Indianapolis. Indiana. See, I don't even know what state I'm going to. Kathy's brother's son, he works for the Indianapolis Colts. So that's why he is there. So that's where we'll be, Brother Keith. He can go anywhere preaching the word he wants to. I've not asked him to teach on a particular topic, so it will be all yours to handle next week. Hey, good. All right, excellent. Yeah, that would be excellent. A great speech that Jesus gives there in the Mount of Olives about the second coming. All right, Matthew 25, good choice. So what will be left when everything we know of is gone? Well, the heavens will be left, but there are three heavens that we know of that use the same word, heaven, in our English Bibles, or Uranus is the Greek word. Jesus says the birds of the air, Uranus, the space, the sky where the birds fly, and then there is the heavens, the realm of the moon and the stars, and then there is the spiritual heaven, where there exists this new place that we want to talk about today. Heaven, that spiritual realm, is a rather large area. We can't comprehend outer space. We can't comprehend how big it is. We're told that these satellites go out and look, and we're constantly finding new horizons, so to speak. But the spiritual realm is a large place. The throne of God there is the center, and there a new city has been built. Remember, Jesus said, "I go away to prepare a place for you." So Jesus has prepared a place for us in that great spiritual realm. They've knocked down some walls, and they've opened up some space, and Jesus has constructed a new area, built a new city. Now, when Jesus said, "I go to prepare a place for you," that was around AD 33, if we kind of take the common numbers. And then what we're going to look at here in Revelation, a description of that new city, this was written around AD 96, is the general thinking there during a certain persecution of Christians. So over those years, Jesus created this new place for us, and he is going to come, and we're going to enjoy the blessings of that new city. I want us to read a little bit about it here, just quickly, as we get into this. First, it is the city we're told that Abraham looked for. Hebrews 11, he looked for a city whose builder and maker was God. Hebrews 12 passage refers to this city that is home to thousands or myriads of angels. Revelation 21:18, the city of pure gold that John saw then. John was able to see this city and was able to describe it to us. I want us to read a couple passages here in Revelation that begins to or describes to us this new city. First of all is Revelation 14. Revelation 14. What to think about here. John says, "Then I looked, and behold, the Lamb was standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his name and the name of his Father written on their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven like the sound of many waters, and like the sound of loud thunder. And the voice which I heard was like the sound of harps playing on their harps. And they sang a new song before the throne and before the 4 living creatures and the elders. And no one could learn the song except the 144,000 who had been purchased from the earth. These are the ones who have not defiled themselves with women, for they have kept themselves chaste. These are the ones who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These have been purchased from among men as first fruits to God and to the Lamb, and no lie was found in their mouth, and they are blameless." So here we see John looking, and he sees the Lamb standing on Mount Zion. Now we all know what Mount Zion is. It is that peak, hillside peak or mountain peak, the highest in the region, Mount Zion, where the temple was built in Jerusalem, and where the Dome of the Rock now stands when you see those pictures of Jerusalem today. That is Mount Zion, and it is synonymous with the worship of God. It is synonymous with the establishment of the church. Isaiah prophesied that out of Zion and out of Jerusalem that the word would go forth. So this here, John is looking, and he sees the Lamb, Jesus, of course, depicted as the Lamb back to Revelation 4 and 5. John saw this one who was pictured as a lamb slain. So he sees Jesus, or the Lamb there, with him 144,000 having his name, that is the name of Jesus, and the name of the Father written on their foreheads. Remember, everything in the book of Revelation is symbolic. It's figurative. There's nothing literal there to be found. And so the 144,000 is a figurative number that's very representative of the 12 tribes of Israel. Remember, there were 12 elders around the throne, and the 12 apostles. So 12 times 12 is what? 144,000. So this is symbolic here that he sees standing around Jesus here on Mount Zion, this large number of people from both the Old Covenant and the New Covenant who have their name upon their foreheads of Jesus and the Father. These are the ones, of course, that have followed them. And he says, "And I heard a voice from heaven." What'd that voice sound like? Well, it sounded like many waters and like the sound of loud thunder. And the voice which I heard was like the sound of harpists playing on their harps. All right, there was no waterfall here. There was no thunderstorm going on here. And there was nobody playing a harp. These are words used to describe what he heard. I heard a sound. What did it sound like? Well, it sounded like thunder. It was, though beautiful, like harpists playing on their harps. It had that a beautiful thought of it like that, and so like a roaring waterfall. So these were the terms that he used to describe the sound that he heard. Now John has this very, very difficult job of describing spiritual things to us that we can relate to it in physical words. And that's what the book of Revelation is all about. John trying to find some way to describe what is really indescribable by the human language. As many of you know, Kathy and I worked with the deaf for many years. Worked with the Georgia School for the Deaf. I was later headed up a small school of preaching type program in Birmingham designed to train deaf men to preach. And as you know, Kathy taught deaf children here in Memphis for many, many years. So we have a long history of working with deaf children. One day in Georgia, a tornado came through the area, did quite a bit of damage, very close to the school. So I was standing around talking, to some of the kids about the tornado, and one of the kids said, what did the tornado, what did it sound like? And I said, well, it sounded like a train. It's what we always hear, sound like a train. And he looked at me and he said, well, what does a train sound like? It's hard to describe. This is the job that John has. He's trying to describe something to us in physical ways that we can relate it. So he hears this magnificent voice, and he's just saying it's like a waterfall. No, it's like thunder. No, it's like beautiful music. This great sound of this voice that I heard speaking. And he said, but then he says, and they sang a new song. They didn't sing with a harp. No, the harp was just a descriptive term of the voice. What did they do? They sang a new song. There's no reference to playing instruments in heaven. There is singing. They sang a new song before the throne and before the four living creatures. Remember, those are ones circling the throne. Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. And the elders, remember, sitting around there. And the song, no one could learn the song except the 144,000 who have been purchased from the earth. So we know that there will be two songs we know of. There's this new song, and then there's the Song of Moses that is referred to as well, that we will learn to sing. And these are ones that have been purchased from among men. Remember, we have been bought with a price. We've been purchased with the precious blood of the Lamb. So here is this this gathering of people on Mount Zion in this new city that the Lord is building. All right, I want to talk just a minute about, as we get into New Jerusalem over here in chapter 21, if you want to turn over there, we'll look here at Revelation 21, the famous passage that we read. It's significant that it is referred to as New Jerusalem. Jerusalem, of course, is a central city in the New Testament. Goes way, way back though before that. When Abraham went and rescued Lot, who had been kidnapped, on his way back, he stopped and paid alms to Melchizedek, the priest of Salem. This is the same high Mount Zion. This city of Salem goes all the way back to Abraham's day. Then it was later occupied by the Jebusites and became known as Jerusalem. And David thought it was such a magnificent place for his kingdom that when he became king, he moved into Jerusalem, and it's forever been known as the city of David, where he brought the Ark of the Covenant into the city. He wanted to build a house for God, but God said, no, I'll let your son do that. So David built his palace there, but did not build the temple. That was done by Solomon, who then built the temple, and the Ark of the Covenant was brought in, placed in the holy places. So that has been the center of the New Testament story. ever since. Of course, it was the place where Jesus went, and all of Jews went to observe the Passover, the great city of Jerusalem, located on the uttermost peak called Mount Zion. Across the way is the other peak known as the Mount of Olivet, where that passage that y'all are going to study next week took place, that reading. In the middle is a valley, the Valley of Kidron, a small creek that flows through that valley. Off of that creek, a tunnel was built, Hezekiah's tunnel, to bring water into the city. On the southern part of the city, there's a second valley on the southern part called the Valley of Hinnom, belonged to a man named Hinnom, which we'll study more about that location as well. So here is the great, magnificent, important city during Jesus' time, and throughout history, it has remained one of the most important cities in the world. And it's amazing that it still does. I mean, Jerusalem was in the news this morning that I witnessed. It's still one of the great cities of the world. It is of course, the center of Christianity. That is, we all like to go to Jerusalem. We like to walk where Jesus walked. We like to see where these stories took place. So it's the center of Christianity. It's also still the center of Judaism, where, of course, we have a nation now established, and Jerusalem is where their name of their, I can't think of it, the ruling parties all meet, like our Senate Capitol. And of course, so it's remains the main headquarters spot of the Jewish religion, and then for the Muslims, it is very honored and respected in the Muslim world. The Dome of the Rock is a Muslim mosque, which, by the way, there's nothing in there but a big rock, where Muslims believe it's where Abraham offered up Isaac, or attempted to. So Jerusalem remains a tremendously important city. And it is that important city that then Jesus gives to us, and John draws to us, this wonderful spiritual city that has been built for us to inhabit in the spiritual realm. So with that in mind, let's turn over and look here at Revelation chapter 21. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth passed away, and there is no longer any sea. Remember, what's going to be left around when everything we know is gone? Everything we know is gone. The first earth has passed away. The sea, the oceans, they're gone. I'm not really up on this idea that this earth will be left intact, and that it'll be remodeled, and we'll all will stay here in a remodeled kind of a Garden of Eden type place here. I'm not real sure how those who have come up with that idea deal with these passages, but it is very clear that the first earth, that is the earth we're on now, the only one I know of, that this first earth has passed away, and the sea is gone, no longer any sea. I don't know how anyone could live on this world without the oceans. Okay? Don't know how that would work. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, made ready as a bride adorned for her husband. So here is John sees this holy city, this New Jerusalem. This old Jerusalem will be destroyed. It will be gone. Remember, everything on earth will be passed away. But God is going to create, the only way he could really make us understand how important and magnificent this city is going to be is to describe it as a New Jerusalem. New Jerusalem. Where Kathy grew up in Fulton, Mississippi, when I first went there to preach many years ago, the whole town existed in the square around the courthouse. Many years after we left, Sam Walton came and built a big Walmart way out of town, and now there's hardly anything left around the court square. There's New Fulton, I call it. New Fulton. Everything's out there. Everything's been built around Walmart. And that's happened in many other cities. Well, John sees New Jerusalem. This is how else can I describe to the importance of this city? Well, it's New Jerusalem, which should show the impact and value of this city. And it's made ready as a bride adorned for her husband. Oh yeah. There's nothing quite like a bride being adorned for her husband at the wedding, is there? Oh, these weddings, and everything that, you got to go say yes to the dress. That's the first big part of it. And then you got to get all your bridesmaids, and then you got to find the right location, and all this that has to be done. All this is getting the bride. This is going to be her day. Her dad's got to clean up and shave and put on a tuxedo and lead her down the aisle. This is her day. So the city of Jerusalem, as John saw it, all he could say, it's been perfectly readied for us, like a bride adorns herself for her wedding, for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Behold, the tabernacle of God is among men, and he will dwell among them, and they shall be his people, and God himself will be among them." So he hears this loud voice saying then, the tabernacle of God, the tent. This goes back, of course, to the Old Testament tabernacle. And you recall in the tabernacle that you had the outer court and the holy place where you went in, and was the table of showbread and the altar of incense. And then there was the Holy of Holies where the Ark of the Covenant rested. And when they built the tabernacle then, was now a building designed by God, built by Moses and the Israelites, and this was where God would come and dwell. Remember, he would come down then, that cloud would come down with flashes of lightning, and it would come and it would sit over the Holy of Holy place, showing that God's presence was there in that place. So this New Jerusalem is going to be, God is going to be there. He's going to come down and walk and live among us in this New Jerusalem. And he himself will be among them. So remember I said that the thing to remember, the first most important thing about heaven is that God will be there. You'll be in the presence of the God of heaven and earth, the God that you prayed for, the God that you have envisioned. You'll get to see him face to face. In this new city, God is going to come and live with us. Now he's, up there in that throne. But in that new city, he's going to get down off that throne and he's going to walk and live among us. Walk and live among us. That's what the main thing that this heaven is about. Verse 4, and he will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there will be no longer be any death. There will no longer be any mourning or crying or pain. These first things have passed away. So in this new Jerusalem, we're going to be resurrected, given a new eternal body to live in forever. And in this new city, he's taken away all the painful elements of this life. He's taken away all of them. They will no longer exist. There'll be no longer death. Hallelujah. No longer mourning. Yes. Or crying or pain. These things, all these emotions that we feel that are so painful and hurtful that tear our lives apart, all those things will be gone in this new city that God is creating for us. I think I say in the book, explain it this way, that when it says there'll be no more tears, we won't have the emotion of sadness. We won't have the ability to be sad. It won't exist there. There'll be no reason to be sad. There'll be no reason. There'll be no pain anymore of death. There'll be nothing to cry over, shed tears over. There'll be nothing there. It's the perfect world. All those things will be absent of our emotional bank in that new body that we'll be given. We're going to talk about that new body in a couple lessons from now, but in that new body, those emotions won't exist anymore. They will be gone. We won't have the ability to be sad. Won't be there. And there'll be no death, no funeral homes, no accidents that takes a life, nothing like that. No cancer. Those things will not exist. There'll be nothing to be sad over. Hallelujah. What a great thing. Amen. No cemeteries there. About that, no cemeteries. So that's what John is getting across to us, that those things will be gone. Now, I'm asked this question a lot. Well, what if I get up there and I realize that my mom and dad aren't there, or my husband didn't make it, or my child didn't make it? Won't I be sad over that? No, you won't. You won't have that ability. That emotion will not exist as far as being sad. I was thinking about it in this way, trying to this morning, thinking through this. Sorry, you keep using Kathy and her family for my illustrations today, but she had a big family reunion last year. We all went to that reunion. It was really nice. I guess it's one of your cousins' place that we went. Was at his place, way out in the country, beautiful spot. Had this huge barn, and it was open, and we had a great meal and time together. But it was just laughter and joy of meeting and telling old stories and stuff. And there was no sadness there because many of the relatives weren't there. We weren't grieving over that there. We were just enjoying being together and enjoying the time. And our loved ones that had gone on, that wouldn't be there, we weren't lamenting over them. We weren't counting heads and saying, well, who's here? And, well, let's talk about all the people that died and together. No, they had a good time, good food. And, so that's kind of the way I think. It's going to be such a wonderful time that we won't lament over those that unfortunately did not make it there. Any questions or anything here at this point? I know I don't elicit a lot of. That's true. We can be, be thankful for the faith of those that have gone on before. Yes. Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, one of the best comforts we have, about Dave is that I baptized him right there, So we know where Dave is, and we're thankful for that. So we do have a sense of joy in knowing those that went on before us in great faith are with the Lord. Yes.
So you've had the question asked to you about whether or not you can sad about somebody not being there. Will you recognize somebody being there?
Oh yeah, we talked about this last week. Yeah, we'll recognize each other. We will remember our life back here on earth. We will. I don't know that we'll know what's going on back here, but we certainly will remember our own life and our own families that are alive and back on earth. And
once we're up there, we're all together.
Will we do a head count? Will we say, okay, I found you, Mom. Now where's Dad? Let's try to find Dad. And then now let's where's little Johnny, and let's see if we can find everybody. Oops, little Johnny's missing. Where is he? Well, don't know exactly how that will work, but the joy that we will express in the presence of God will wipe away every tear. We will not be sad there. We will be too busy rejoicing over the beauty, the majesty of the place, the everlasting eternal life that we're now going to enjoy. So He'll wipe away every tear from our eyes. There'll be no sense of pain there. Verse 5, and he who sits on the throne said, Behold, I am making all things new. And he said, Write, for these words are faithful and true. Then he said to me, It is done. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give to the one who thirsts, and from the spring of the water of life without cost. He who overcomes will inherit these things, and I will be his God, and he will be my son. So there is this new Jerusalem, this heavenly place that has been given to us. Prepared as a bride. We get to live with God forever. No tears, no sorrow, no death. What a wonderful place this is. All right, I want us to look then at the description that John gives to us here in the time we have left. John says, and he carried me away in the Spirit. Remember John 1? I was in the Spirit of the Lord today. The Spirit carried him away to a great and high mountain and showed me the holy city, Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. Now, what a sight that is. So John then is carried to a high mountain, and he is able to look, and he sees this holy city, holy meaning pure, of God, this holy city, Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, having the glory of God. Her brilliance was like very costly stone, and as a stone of crystal clear jasper. It had a great and high wall with 12 gates, and the gates and at the gates 12 angels, and the names were written on them, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the sons of Israel. So here John sees this great city, and he's going to describe this city to us. This city, it's beautiful, it's shining, like clear crystal, like jasper, like diamonds. And it had this great high wall, and this wall had 12 gates. And the 12 gates, of course, are from the 12 tribes of Israel. And there were angels there with them. When I think of that, about the angels being at the gate, I think about the cherubim that was placed at the entrance to the Garden of Eden, to keep Adam and Eve out. Okay, come in. So this city is protected. Nothing sinful, nothing evil. The Satan is not going to be able to scale these walls. It is going to be free of his influence. And the names were written on these, the names of the 12 tribes of the sons of Israel. And there were 3 gates on the east, 3 on the north, and 3 on the south, and 3 on the west. And the wall of the city had 12 foundation stones, and on them were 12 names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So we're given this 24,000 number here of again, this is the basic telling us that this city was produced by those of the Old Covenant and by those of the New Covenant. And everyone that exists and lives within this city are those that served God faithfully under the Old Covenant, and those that serve God faithfully under the New Covenant today. And verse 16, and the city, let's see here. Okay, all right. Verse 16. And the city is laid out as a square, and its length is as great as its width. And he measured the city with a rod, 1,500 miles. That's my translation. Its length and width and height are equal. So just think of a city that the wall, in order to protect it, is 1,500 miles high. This city is laid out in this huge sense of levels. It's 1,500 miles wide, 1,500 miles deep, 1,500 miles high. It's as a square wall here. According, it says in verse 17, and he measured its wall 72 yards according to man's measurement, which are also angelic measurements. So angels have their own way of measuring. I don't know if they're on the metric system or what they use, but the angels have been a part of this city being built. So it is laid out, the city, as of a square, which I find significant. I think I've mentioned this before in the Holy of Holy Places in the tabernacle, and then again in the temple that Solomon built. The Holy of Holy Places is described as 20 cubits by 20 cubits by 20. It's a perfect square, the Holy of Holy. That seems to be the design that God likes, a square design. As an architect, he likes that square design. And the material of the wall was jasper, and the city was pure gold, like clear glass. So here John is just trying to describe to us in the best way that he can how beautiful and magnificent this city is in only the ways that he possibly could describe them. If I had time, I could actually read verse 19 and 20, which list all these precious stones. And I did rehearse reading all of them. Some of those names are hard to pronounce. But verse 21, and the 12 gates were 12 pearls. The 12 gates now this are made up of pearl. A few years back, I got this notion that for my wife, I wanted to buy her a nice pearl necklace, until I started seeing how much they cost. Real pearl necklaces are out of this world expensive. Wow. She didn't get the pearl, no. So this wall, then, when I thought of that, I thought, the walls here, the gates are made up of mother of pearl, just how certainly beautiful that is. And each of the gates was a single pearl. That must have been some oysters, all I can say. It was single pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, like transparent glass. And I saw no temple in it, for the Lord God, the Almighty, and the Lamb are its temples, and the city has no need of the sun or of the moon to shine on it, for the glory of God has illuminated it, and the Lamb of the Lamb. So here is this beautiful place. No sorrow. It is our inheritance. It is well protected, well fortified. And the sun and the moon are gone, but the glory, the light of the city is provided by the glory of God itself. Remember when Moses was on the mountain and in the presence of God all of those days. When he came back down, what did they notice about him? He had this glow about him because he had been in the presence of God. His face was glowing. As a matter of fact, then he would go into that tent they built where he would go and speak to God. And they had to, when he would come out, they had to put a veil over his face because his face was just glowing from being in the presence of God. So this city is lit by the very presence of God, by his glory, and it illuminates the city. Verse 24, the nations will walk by its light, and the kings of the earth will bring their glory into it in the daytime, for there will be no night there, and its gates will never be closed. And they will bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. And nothing unclean, and no one who practices abomination or lying will ever come into it, but only those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life. I tell in the book a story about a mother who had this child that was born blind, a little girl. This girl grew up, as they would be riding around, the mother would be trying to describe to the little girl things that she saw. Describe the mountains to her. Describe the trees, the beautiful trees and the blooms. Describe for her the flowers that were blooming around, to describe her the beauties of the world around her. Well, as a young lady, they were informed that there was a surgery that could possibly restore her sight, and of course they went through with the surgery. And so the day came when they unwrapped the bandages and things and looked, and it's amazing, the girl was able to see. And so she ran to the window to look out, and she saw the mountains and the trees and the beautiful flower beds, and she said, "Mom, how beautiful it is, how beautiful it is. Why didn't you tell me how beautiful it really is?" And the mother could just say, "Honey, I tried. John is making his best effort here to tell us how magnificent, how wonderful, how unbelievable New Jerusalem really is. The glory of God lighting the city. our faces shining, no sadness or sorrow. A city whose streets are gold, a city with God walking among us, a city attended to by the angels. That's where we want to go, isn't it? And John is trying to tell us that this is a real place. This is a true, real place that we look forward to going and being at. So we sing, "O Zion, Zion." Well, that's New Jerusalem. New Jerusalem. And that Jesus has gone and prepared for us. And he gave John that glimpse, showed him that new city, and asked John to relate it to us in words we could understand. And so I just want you to understand that's what's waiting for us. When Jesus comes back and redeems all of those who have lived faithfully, that's where he's taking us. That's where we're going to go. We're going to walk through those pearly gates. We're going to live forever in the city of God, New Jerusalem. All right, any questions, comments anybody would like to make at this point?
What do you think about cremation? People are cremated. And I know that we studied that your soul goes to Hades.
Yes.
So if you're cremated, it's your soul. So it's not actually your body, your physical body that goes into it.
That's exactly right, yeah. In this issue, the Magnolia Messenger, dust to dust, can you be cremated? By the editor, by the way. Yeah, people do worry about that, and I get questioned about that all the time. Can you be cremated? I think that it's actually not allowable in the Catholic Church. So what does the Bible teach us about that? Well, our bodies are going to go back to the dust of the ground. Our souls then are departing and leaving and going into that waiting room, a Hadean realm of the dead, waiting for Jesus to return. And then when he comes, we'll be resurrected from the Hadean realm, and at that moment be given then a new body. Our souls will be given a new body, just as your soul was given this body. So when this body is gone, it's useless. I'm not there anymore. And it doesn't matter. You can mummify someone and give them a solid gold casket and seal it and put it in the ground. But I'm sorry, that person's not there. That's just the body. We honor our loved ones by burying them with honor and distinction, and we put a nice marker there, and we go there and feel a closeness to that person there. But they're not there. They have gone on to that spiritual realm, and just think how terrible it would be if, like, how many soldiers or people been lost at sea over the centuries. It's unbelievable. Even today, there are hundreds of people that die in the ocean. So what about all those souls down still in the Titanic, or the soldiers still down in the hull of the Arizona? How tragic to think of that they couldn't go to heaven because their body is gone. So, no, the sea, we're told the sea would give up their dead. Everyone will be given that new body when the Lord returns. And we're going to study about that new body here in a couple of weeks. So, anything else? Next week, Mr. Keith will be with you, and thank you. And I will be in Illinois or Pennsylvania or somewhere else. Yeah, somewhere north of here. Thank you. Yes, yes, that's right, yeah. I go where my wife and GPS tells me. Indianapolis, Indiana. Well, but I don't, yeah, he works for